Fred Kroner, and today I'm going to introduce you to a beautiful and often misunderstood instrument, the ukulele. Now, when most people think of the ukulele, at best they think of hula girls and tiki bars and SpongeBob, and at worst they think of Tiny Tim and Tiptoe Through the Tulips. But I'm here to tell you that the uke is more than just a toy. Now, the uke's rich history, musical adaptability, and its instant playability make it a great instrument for musician and music lovers of any talent or age group. I'd like to give you a brief history of the uke. I'd like to talk about the modern uke revival and how it's being used in modern music today, and also a bit about how to play the uke so that maybe some of you can get an instrument and start playing it today. So some history about the uke. Most people think of the ukulele as a Hawaiian instrument, but that's not entirely true. It actually has roots that go back to the Spanish and the Portuguese. The Spanish had an instrument called the cuadro, which was actually a short-scale four-string guitar. But by the 18th century, the Portuguese had adapted the cuadro to a shorter scale still and a unique tuning, and they called it the machete. Now, in the 18th century, the Portuguese were migrating to the Hawaiian Islands to work in the sugarcane fields. And there was a ship called the Ravenscraig that docked in Honolulu, and on that ship there was a family of cabinet makers that brought along with them the machete and, more importantly, the knowledge of how to build the instruments. And this became wildly popular with the Hawaiians. They couldn't make them fast enough. And the Hawaiians renamed the machete the ukulele, which literally translates to jumping flea, because the musician's hands jump so quickly across all of the strings. Now, by the 19th century, the ukulele's popularity had spread to the mainland, where it became the go-to instrument for jazz and country western musicians. If you can look back at a lot of the old photographs of the big bands, you'll see that they had a ukulele player. Many songs, The Little Girl in the Blue Dress and Brother Can You Spare a Dime, these are all songs that were penned on the ukulele and then were adapted for big band and orchestras. It was also very popular with western musicians, country western musicians, because when cowboys were out for months at a time on cattle drives, it was much easier to bring along a small portable ukulele than it was to bring a large acoustic body guitar. Now, by the middle of the 20th century, Americans' tastes had changed. We were getting into World War I, things became more serious, and music in general sort of faded from the limelight, and the uke all but disappeared. After World War II, the uke enjoyed a small revival when U.S. Sailors were bringing back souvenir ukes from the islands, but it never really achieved the status that it once did. So now let's talk about the modern uke revival and how it's affecting modern music today. In 1993, Hawaiian musician Israel Kamakui'ole, also known as Brother Is, released his versions of What a Wonderful World and Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and these were very beautiful songs. They hit the charts and it helped bring the uke back out of the darkness. But it was really in 2006 when Hawaiian musician Jake Shimabukuro uploaded a video to YouTube, and he played George Harrison's While My Guitar Gently Weeps on a ukulele in Central Park right next to Strawberry Fields, ironically, and this video exploded and went viral. As of right now, that video has just under 14 million views, and this helped rocket Jake into superstar status. And once again, it made the uke a bona fide, cool instrument that people want to play. And now you see it in music all over the place. Taylor Swift and Bruno Mars and Jason Mraz all have songs that feature the uke. Train released Hey Soul Sister, which sold almost 4 million copies overnight. Rock star Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam is a big ukulele fanatic, and he released a whole solo album of nothing but ukulele music. Another reason that the uke is enjoying a modern revival is that it's a relatively inexpensive instrument. While you might spend hundreds of dollars for a decent quality guitar, even a starter guitar, right now with $60 in your pocket, you can go to almost any music store in the country and come out with a beautiful instrument that looks and plays terrific. So let's get down to talking about the fun part of the ukulele, the actual playing of it. Now, while it takes a lot of practice to be good at any instrument, the uke is very user-friendly, which makes it great for a beginning musician. First of all, it has soft nylon strings as opposed to the steel strings of a guitar, which makes it really easy on beginners' fingers. Also, there's only 4 strings on it compared to the 6 of a guitar. You have play with 4 fingers here and you have 4 strings. It seems like a natural fit. Also, the uke has a very unique tuning. It's tuned openly to an A6 chord, which sounds very pleasant to the ears. And if you can introduce just one finger, now you can begin to write music right off the bat. Now, if you can learn 3 or 4 very, very basic chords, just to name a couple, you could play literally hundreds and hundreds of popular songs. Think about Bob Dylan, All Along the Watchtower, 3 chords. U2, I Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For, 3 chords. The Hanging Tree, which is from the Hunger Games. Right now, that's a popular song, and that's 3 chords you can easily play on the uke. I would say 90% of Beatles songs can all be played 3 or 4 chords on a ukulele. In fact, George Harrison of the Beatles was actually a huge uke fanatic and wrote a lot of the Beatles songs on the ukulele. So, now that you know a little bit more about the uke, perhaps you can view it in a little different light. The uke's, it's so easy to play that any beginning or expert musician can play it. It has a rich history that goes back to the 18th century and beyond. It's not only did it inspire jazz and Western musicians of the past, but it's still inspiring musicians today, and you can see it all over the place. And the playability just makes it such a perfect fit for any beginning musician. So, hopefully now you view the uke as less than a toy and more like the cool, soulful instrument that it really is.